Hello, this is Natsuya, and I wanted to do a quick reading for today. This was a lazy day. The energy was a bit strange as well. It was interesting because there were some interactions that seemed to go a little bit differently than it had initially been presented. And I think today that a lot of people were kind of feeling the stress in the energy. And I want to do a reading. We're going to be using the Grid Scan Hack the Mainframe deck, which you see here. We're also going to be using the Messenger Oracle. This is the Messenger Oracle. And on top of that, we're going to be looking at some of the cards that I had created. This is a deck I created a couple days ago. And I'm still getting used to it. I have to, put the butterflies on it and make it a little more decorative. I'm still in the process of doing that. But today's reading, I just wanted to look at what was going on in the horizon. I know a lot of people have gone through a lot of changes, and it's winter now, depending on where you are. And that has caused a lot of differences in people's body composition, because it's cold, and it changes the energy. So I wanted to start there. So let's get on with this reading. First card we have out is Mirror Identity. So there's some identity theft, and we brought that up before, but there's also some copycats and clones that are out there trying to do exactly the same thing that you're doing. And they're trying to do it better. And they may have in the past been able to circumvent the energy or drain your energy. But let's see what we got here. So this one has network at 80. And this is the Fade Callan Packrat Leader card. So there's a group of people who are still trying to get into your energy, and I know that you're protected and things like that, and I'm going through different ways of reading right now. And so that is another thing that you need to find out and repel the energy that's coming towards you. There are some people who you have left out recently. They may have been past acquaintances or enemies that were close to you, seeming to be friends, but they were not. And those people, some of them have given up because they are dealing with their karma right now, and they didn't know what they were going to get into. But definitely here is the opposition card. So this is Ryuho Dejar, and it says up there, destruction. Ryuho in the Grid Scan series will do absolutely anything to foil against his brother and stop, the Pacific territories from creating a world of peace and an end to conflict. But Ryuho does that by increasing conflict and turning people against each other. A lot of that is with lies, and a lot of it is with manipulation, because he can get close to people and trust them so that they trust him, and then he'll just turn around and go right at you. And then what else do we have here? Core dump system crash. So I know a lot of the energy has been strange, and electronics have been working weird. I know I've had glitchy televisions and glitchy tablets and everything else. My computer has gone on the fritz. It'll just disconnect for some reason. So there are definitely people who are, even though a lot of those monitoring spirits and a lot of the people who were monitoring you, if you did have hidden cameras in your home, that has gone, but there are still others trying to get in, and they have not actually given up trying. Some of that has been stopped by the ancestors, and you are protected. But there are still some people out there who are really envious and jealous of the collective's position, the information that you know, and they want to know how you're doing it. So you are 10 steps ahead, as you can see this here. So they're still coming at you, but you definitely are ahead of the game. And that is very important for you, so that these people are trying to usurp your position. They're trying to take your power, and they're trying to take what is rightfully yours if they haven't done that already. You know, they put barriers in place and challenges and hoops that you have to go through, and even in other cases, like, directly slowed you down. So, for example, people at, in your community, in your circle, maybe close family and friends, or people who you thought were your friends, and things like that. And there's just a lot of jealousy in the air, but you are still steps ahead. And so it's time to spend some quiet time and recharge. That is actually very important, because now that it's winter, people are staying inside. But it's still good to connect to nature, even though the seasons are changing. And that is important too. And you need to recharge. It's definitely something I need to be doing more of. The enemy is scheming behind your back. So, yes, they still are. Some of them may have changed out. You may have some different enemies than you had before. But they're definitely still out there, and they may have recruited some new people to go against you. So let's look at the Messenger Oracle. And I'll actually pull a significator card from my new deck. I need to learn how to... I shuffled these beforehand. I just didn't want to do a whole bunch of shuffling on screen. And some of these cards are still barely new, so they don't bend very well. I did get a chance to get some new decks recently, and that has been nice. And I will be actually starting my Reiki training in the next month or so, and I've been working a lot with energy, and I'm seeing that the energy comes out in the cards, especially your relationship to them. There's certain decks that I have that I'm able to pull energy off of, and I can read differently. A lot of these newer decks don't have the same energy as the ones previously, I've noticed. So let's look at past, present, and future. And since they're all upside down, I'm going to reverse them all. So, nourish the soul. So you have the cat, bath spirit. Have courage. So this is the lion. And we have heed the messengers. So these are your ascended masters and your ancestors and the angels. So heed the messages that you are seeing and that are coming to you, because your ancestors and your spirit guides are definitely trying to communicate with you at this time. And they're trying different ways, because the amount of energy that is being put into blocking you and people hating on you is so high that it's kind of ridiculous. And, your ancestors are there to guide you, but remember, you need to ask. The angels can't directly interfere, and they cannot act unless you ask them to. Now, you can ask them specific questions, or you can request assistance. But unless you do that, they may be around you and protecting you from some things, but they can't directly show you signs and synchronicities, or interfere in the activities of humans unless they are given permission. So let's see here. packet capture. So again, you've got people online who are definitely watching you, and they've been watching you for a while, and they're trying to study you and learn and get one step ahead. But judgment is coming for them. Let's turn these right side up. This is a Galen All-Red Sci-Faction card. This is a judgment card for those who are coming against the collective and against truth. And that's definitely something that's important. And next we have Zen Zen, the Tower. So for those of the people who are coming against you, definitely they are going to want to, get out of that energy, and, turn back to looking more at the positive. There's no benefit in sabotaging someone because it's just going to come back to you, and it's, you can't escape your karma. So that is definitely true. And so I want to get a couple more cards in here because I wanted this to be a quick reading because the energy was so strange today. I didn't even want to go outside for a while, but I did get to go outside later in the day. And I know people have been sleeping a lot, and it's cold, and we're trying to stay warm. And with the seasons changing, the energy is changing. And there's also different gateways and portals that are affecting us. And we just went through a full moon. So again, those who are coming against you are seeing their karma. They are losing it all. And some of them are actually going to jail because they didn't think people were going to catch up to them, but they have. And there are some, baby hackers who are out looking at your material. I know they're currently in my phone right now. Well, recording this video as I do. So I know you're there. So I hope you're enjoying it. I hope, I'll try to keep the entertainment value up. Definitely. Because I know you keep doing that. So they were actually in my computer earlier today when I posted a doodle of Jean that I had done earlier, the Prophet High Priestess, because we're going to start working on Gridscan Psychodive Volume 2, Chapter 8. We just finished Chapter 7. And I'm going to be releasing the final version, episode 8 of season 1 of the Gridscan Scout Eve indie anime web series. So check out that. That is coming. It includes Fade, the main character, the leader of the hackers. Here we just saw him. And it includes Jean. Here is Fade. Here is Fade, the leader of the hackers, who, by any means necessary, wants to make sure that the psychics and the collectives are safe, and that he is protecting those like Ian, who is a prophet lay priestess, and she uses her prophecy to help the pack rats in their journey to find truth and respect for all psychics, against, an oppressive state or government that's out there and various organizations that are trying to scapegoat them. But here we have the Empress is in the house. This is Athesian, the Dream Seer. She's a woman of trans experience, and she has actually seen the world through the eyes of a man and the eyes of a woman. And that shows different things of how the world actually looks. That there are some opportunities and some challenges depending on who you are. And add on top of that, intersectionality of race and color and religion, beliefs, sexuality, and gender, and you'll see those expand, especially depending on where you are. This is the acolyte of the pack rats. The musician is playing play. And so you're definitely transmuting some of this negative energy that's coming out. But I want to actually see what the energy is. What is it? What is this energy? Is it negative? Or is it ascension symptoms? Or is it something else that's being artificially projected? And so we have Ian again as a trance channeler. So this is wisdom. So you're going to want to use your discernment as you go over this next week or so. Next 2 weeks as we move into February. And we're going to want to make sure that you have your protections for Valentine's Day. And I'll have to look at what the moon is going to be doing in early February. We just had the Lunar New Year, that the year of the rabbit, and that is an auspicious year, and also a year of good luck. So that's actually very good. And I'm going to be posting some White Rabbit stuff a little bit. Recently, I'll have some rabbit merchandise coming out with the next rollout of the Oracle deck, which is coming in February. Seek the lesson. So your ancestors and ascended masters are definitely along on the ride with you. And they are here to help, but you need to ask questions. Again, they can observe, but they're also there as mentors for you. And so as a good student, you should keep your mind open. Don't always accept the very first thing that you see, but trust your instincts and trust your second sight and trust your higher self and the energy. And that is very important. There are lessons all around you and synchronicities, and that is how they are communicating with you. And so, have your work with water, and see yourself in nature. Go hug a tree. It becomes more important, especially in the winter months when, people are inside. But you need to actually have that interaction with Mother Gaia, and that is definitely very helpful. We also have a new day dawns here. As you can see, this dragon watching out from on high, and they're basically there to protect you. So think about it as your ancestors and the Ascended Masters are there to guide you with their wisdom. And they can't do that if your heart is closed to their energy. And if you are not open to receive, or you think you know everything, nobody knows everything. Maybe the Supreme Being knows everything, if you believe in the Supreme Being. But, we're only humans, and so our minds are limited in this 3D consciousness and construct of the physical plane that we are in. And so in order to understand some of those higher dimensional thoughts and come into the full understanding of compassion and love, we need to open ourselves up to the higher self. And in order to do that, we need to stay strong. Okay? We need to stay strong, and you need to transmute that negative energy that's coming at you. And here we have the fox. So observe in silence. There's a lot to be said for listening more than speaking. And I know, in the Benedictine, the rule of Saint Benedict, there are some lessons on holding your tongue and not laughing too much and not saying too many words, because your words are what can get you in trouble. And so I know this is a passage in the Saint Benedict about silence. So let me see if I can find that. So, bringing up the rule of Saint Benedict again, observe in silence. Let us follow the prophet's counsel. I said, I have resolved to keep watch over my ways, that I may never sin with my tongue. I was silent and was humbled, and I refrained even from God, from good words. So that's from Psalms 38-39, verse 2-3. Therefore, any request to a superior should be made with humility and respect, submission. We absolutely condemn in all places any vulgarity and gossip and talk leading to laughter, and we do not permit a disciple to engage of words of that kind. So, words can be spells, and it's very important to understand what the power of words actually are. Saint Benedict is terribly strong in condemning gossip and murmuring in the monastery. We need to deeply be aware of why this gossip is condemned, as it is, the devil is out to kill and destroy with his lies. Not only do they kill and destroy another person, they attack the heart of the Benedictine community and charity for one another. And charity is one of the major tenets of, Benedictine philosophy. We need to be aware that there are two strains of thought about laughter in the rule of Saint Benedict. Benedict is never very favorable to laughter or jest, but the chapter on Lent indicates that he was aware that laughter and jesting were part of normal life. They are the realities that can also build and destroy. When a person destroys with laughter and jest, perhaps there is worse blame, because that which is joyful is being used to destruction. So it's very important to watch our words and to know that words have power. And when we speak, especially if we are empathic, or, or if you feel we are chosen, and I don't usually use that term because I don't go around saying I'm chosen, because to me that's a little arrogant. And who is going to self-dub themselves, is one thing. But, if somebody needs to go out and run around and say, I'm a high priestess and, I'm the emperor, then there's an ego check and an ego death that needs to occur there, because that's just pure, that's monkey mind, need for some self-reflection. And why is it so important to put labels and call yourself a prophet or, something like that? Now, I know in my grid scan series that the character Ian we had here a minute ago, she is a prophet, high priestess, trance channeler, but this is a character in a book. And she is also the embodiment of the feminine mysticism in the grid scan series. She's one of the most highly favored and respected women of trans experience in the series. And I wanted to make her, she originally was a homeless teen, and so she had to scrape by her, she was orphaned as a child. She grew up on the streets, and that, they were broken home, there was violence around her. And, at some points in time, she didn't know where she was going to get her next meal from. But in all that suffering that she went through, she always had a positive heart. And that heart is something that was able to channel compassion. And that's why she makes the perfect prophet high priestess for the Packrat clan, the psychics who believe in the prophet religion with the many gods, and that there's gods in the land and in the water. But like I said, Ian keeps things very close to her chest. Okay? She doesn't run around her mouth, and she doesn't, like St. Benedict says, but she definitely keeps her business to herself. And this card is basically reminding us to do that as well. There are some bloodline wars that are going on right now, and you just need to be aware of that. There are battles in the spirit realm that are occurring. I would even say that they're going on right now, and that's another reason why this energy is a little up and down chaotic recently, because with that new moon and the lunar new year, there's been a lot of psychic activity and energy play that have been going on. And if you're an empath, you're definitely feeling it. And so that's definitely something that you're going to want to look at. It's time to start your adventure. And that means going back to nature. That means observing in silence. And it means staying strong. A new day is dawning, and you will be a part of this new world. So, in order to recharge your strength, you should spend time in nature. And also, work with water. If you have a pendulum, or you work with crystals, and I know that's something that I will be working on. As new for me, I've had in the past, I've worked with crystals, but I will be working with auras, and like I said, starting a new Reiki practice, and that will, I think, help to synchronize my energy as I go through some changes. So there's a lot to laugh about, and laughter is the best medicine, it's always said. But also, some of those people who came against you, who were trying to harm you, they are the ones that are looking like fools right now. All that lying that they did and telling stories, people are beginning to wake up and see that all that was lies. All that was jealousy. All that was longing and envy and, evil eye and hate. Your haters will go to jail for going against you. Okay, so that is definitely... There's some people who went to extreme measures to stall you and stop you. And there is going to be payback. Your ancestors are not going to let that go. And karma is not going to let that go. So you are the high priestess. You do have a higher calling. And people who are not used to spirituality or even understand what an empath is or understand energy and vibration, there's a lot of opportunity here for education. And no, we're not here to educate a whole bunch of people and wake them up. We're here to wake up ourselves so that we can give back to the community, so we can help those who may be in fear, who may be scared, who may not know what's next with all the housing crisis and food and climate change. There are people out there, they're being uprooted from all they know because the way the climate is changing. And that's going to bring a lot of opportunity. So, love, healing, and balance. So you need to balance your energy. And you can use rose quartz for that. that will actually help. Like I said, I lost my pendulum. I had my Escaflowne pendulum, but, well, it was fun while it lasted. Your former frenemy wants to tell you the real truth. So again, those people that you walked away from, some of them are now realizing that, yeah, what they did was not okay. And now, because they can't beat you, they're trying to join you. But use your discernment. Don't let them back in. They will just try to come and destroy you or put blocks in your place. That's why they were there in the first place, to block you from moving forward. Some of that was strategic. Some of that may have been people watching from higher posts because they realize who you are, and they may have realized who you are before you did. Okay, because there's been a lot of lying and erasing of memories and a lot of just hiding the truth. I remember in the 6th grade we studied hieroglyphics, and we could actually, I think we actually had to write an essay in hieroglyphics, and that was one of my favorite years in school because I really liked learning about Isis and Amun-Ra and Anubis, and Thoth even back then was one of my, the god of knowledge and wisdom. He was one, Hermes and Kemetic prophecy, even back then, Thoth touched me. And it wasn't until I started writing the Gridscan series with the prophet religion, I had to create a whole religion for the psychics. The state religion is a monotheistic religion that is approved by the state of the Pacific Territories that everybody needs to believe in. And that is a state religion. So it's a monotheistic religion. And it's ruled by the emperor is one of the emanations of the divine and given a divine right. Now, there is a royal family, so you can't just, elect an emperor. They have to go through the viceroy and the hierarchy. But the prophets who are psychic, which is not the mainstay of society, the society actually shuns them and outcasts them because they're different. And I was using that as a metaphor for marginalization. But the prophets, while there is a state religion that's monotheistic, there is a prophet religion. And it's called, and it uses the book of Thoth, and there's Thoth, the god of wisdom, Set, his brother, the twin, the leader of the underworld, and Llewellyn, who is the goddess of art and culture, who graced humanity with psychic power, and she is the consort to the great Lord Thoth. And I define the prophet religion around that concept of creativity, beauty, happiness, joy, and peace, and also knowledge. And I looked a lot at Gnosticism and Enoch, and the book of Raziel and Solomon, and that's when, I became enamored with Samael. But like that, it's the balance. You can't have dark with no light. You can't have light with no dark. What is important is that you have the balance. So do not try me. So people are beginning to understand that you are not someone to play with. And they thought that throwing their little glamorous spells to dull your beauty was going to affect you. But all that stuff is just return to sender. If you meet the Buddha, kill the Buddha. If you meet your father, kill your father. Free of everything, you are bound by nothing. Live the life that is given to you. So don't hold on to burdens and things in the past that no longer suit you. It's time now to embrace your destiny and move forward on this new path. You are the way shower, and it is time for you as empaths and leaders in this new energy to step up. It's time. A lot of the roadblocks have been cleared. A lot of the obstacles have been removed, and the ancestors are there, and they're working as mentors, and they're there to assist you as you go through your ascension. But as we do this, we need to make sure that we are protecting our energy. So be careful when you're on the phone. There are people trying to get your voice on the phone so they can play shenanigans with you. And you will be gaining some insight and some funds from what you're doing now. But there are people out there who are still working against you. They are taking bribes. There are people still out to hurt you. So watch yourself on the phone. Watch what information you give out. Check your devices. Make sure there's no listening devices or somebody tracking you on there. But you're definitely going to win some money. I know I had my royalties just come in today from my books, and that was actually nice. But the energy right now is lawful virtuous. So this is positive. The energy we were getting yesterday and the day before that was malicious chaotic, because the card Jester came out. There was also chaotic neutral came out. But this is lawful virtuous. And this is kind of the energy of Lakshmi and of beauty and love and abundance. And definitely, Kanan is with us as we're doing this reading. But remember, there are people who are still trying to attack you. So please do those return to sender. Send that negative energy back. Protect yourself. Some of these people that came against you are being caught. They crash and burn. The police are on to them. But you definitely have psychic ability, and it's your turn to hone that and to shine and to work on increasing and augmenting and controlling your power so that it becomes more stable and stronger, and that you grow into all of your gifts. So now we have the Emperor. So this may also mean male and female energy together. We had the Empress a while back. There may be a separate person that's different for everyone. But it may also mean that you have achieved a level of balance for your energy. And then we have the Aegis. So this is using your psychic power. So definitely spend time by yourself, work in silence, and definitely hone your energy and study your craft. And that is what's here. The Aegis is the manifestation of psychic power. And here we actually have Blue, the clandestine psychic operative who doesn't speak. He uses his psychic power to do all his communication. And you can see here he's manifesting rings in here, kind of like a little dance of energy. And he does that. There's a scene in the book where he's at a concert and he's doing it on the dance floor, showing those little rings in the sky. But yes, there's definitely some social engineering in play. There's some secret societies in play. There is a rat in the system, so make sure of that. There's a change coming. Make sure your doors are locked. Somebody's trying to get in to your information, so make sure that is protected. I think yesterday I said two-factor authentication, keeping your password secret, use a password vault. But definitely, there's data for sale, and they're selling your information. So be careful of that. If you have children, make sure that their information is protected. But you are the star. And Jai here is the lead guard, so your ancestors are watching over you, and they are trying to protect you. And so this reading has gone a little long, so let's do one more card here. Become a shapeshifter. So come into your new path and become the latest, newest version of you as we go through this change of energy. And so the last card I wanted to get as we cross the significator using my new Oracle deck, which will be on sale in February on the Natsuya Arts website. So let's see what we've got here. Again, have courage, be like water and flow. And feed your spirit. So this is Sakama Ishida. He is a prophet. He is also a member of the Night Team at the Psy faction. He's a psychic who follows a prophet religion, and he actually goes up against dark witches and warlocks who are actually perverting this prophet religion, which is literally about love, compassion, and peace, and using it for pain, destruction, envy, and, gaining influence and cash through ways that are not compassionate and that are not respectful of others. And also, you are a healer. This is Ange, the prophet runner leader. And so, five-fingered being, heal thyself, and one more. Enjoy the silence. So again, move in silence. Okay? Keep that stuff close to your chest. And make sure that whatever you do, let go of the old. That's what Acolyte, this hacker here, is trying to tell you. Let go of the old. Discard old patterns and habits. And so with that, I just wanted to leave you with a bit of butterfly blue and peace.